Now in the past, we've actually looked at data from strike in terms of ratio charts to actually look at the mid cap versus Nifty performance. But you can actually pick up on things like pair trades and relative alpha outperformance between stocks that are related to each other, whether they're from the same sector or just because they tend to move together, they could be from the same group. So they're different type of groupings, and you can actually create ratio charts of them by adding them here, selecting the first chart. Say for example, if you think REC and PFC have a good historical relationship, then you would have to simply type the name of the first stock in the column on top, and then the second one here, REC and then PFC. Right. So once I've done that, I simply add the pair and it gets added, and what you end up with is a ratio chart of the two that you really want to compare. Now what we are going to talk about today though is BEL and HAL, both from the related defense sector. Both have been getting orders on an ongoing basis. How have they really done? I mean, BEL's also had a good performance since the bottom of 2020, but HAL, since it got listed, has also done pretty well. But when we go back and look, so the listing time is around 2017. So we actually want to look at the ratio chart behavior after 2017, after it actually got listed. And you want to check out whether there are certain ranges in which the ratio is moving. So it's not always the case. Sometimes ratios can be in upward channels. They can be sideways. They can trend simply to new highs. But in this case, we can very well see the historical, pattern where it's actually trending within a range. And so I'm just adding lines to both ends of the range that we can visually see. So it gives us a sense of, where the bottoming or topping is. Now that doesn't mean, so if the ratio chart, for example, moves from the top end to the bottom end, all it means is that BEL is underperforming HAL. So it would have probably been more profitable to hold on to an HAL versus a BEL. But does that mean the HAL stock price would not have fallen over here? Probably yes, but much less in comparison to BEL. And the reverse would be true when the ratio is actually going up here, which means that the BEL stock price would have done better than the HAL stock price. Now that sort of gives you a trade setup in terms of pairs that you can, pull together what would have done better. And then you look for, okay, if that is the case, does it work again? Now note here, the ratio is falling, which means BEL underperforms HAL. But that simply means that BEL has gone down more than HAL would have gone down. But it doesn't mean anything about the immediate price. So for example, this bottom in the ratio is happening here. Okay, it's after prices started to rise. What the bottoming tells you is probably after this point of time, you find the HAL stock going up more. The BEL stock going up more than the HAL stock. But once it has, peaked here, after this point, even though BEL is still going up, HAL is probably going up more than BEL. So where are we now in today's date? And that's what we want to understand. In today's date, after this peak point, we've actually seen BEL underperform HAL. So even though the stock price has gone up, HAL has gone up much more. But we have once again reached the bottom end of the range. Now, it's not a rule that the bottom end of the range should work, but it's worked the last two times. And what gets you thinking then is it going to really work again? Is there a pair trade over here? And this is what you have to actually think about and work around as to is it time that BEL starts outperforming HAL. And remember, this kind of performance, underperformance or outperformance can happen both on the way up and on the way down. And that is why it's called a ratio chart. So if you actually long one security and short the other security, then the ratio chart simply works in your favor. And not the other way around. Or if you're a portfolio manager, shifting your weight between one stock to the other when it starts moving. Now some people may actually wait for a further confirmation because, okay, sure, it's at the bottom end of the range, but is it making higher highs and higher lows, or does it really surpass the previous high? Okay, so does the ratio chart start going higher? And second is, does it get past the previous peak? Those would be confirmation signals of, well, that the ratio has actually started to trend higher and that this lower bound is actually working. So these are things you can probably watch out for and study for yourself on the strike tool.